Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Patricia McCallum. This is my colleague Candy Grant. We are with the Kempenfeld Group at Remax Hallmark Che, and we are also certified divorce specialists. We are very happy this morning to have with us Annette Bourassa, who is loaded with credentials. She is first and foremost an accountant. Within the divorce space, she is a chartered financial divorce specialist, certified cash flow specialist. And I'm going to let her, Annette, if you will, talk a little bit about the financial coaching that you offer that more people should know about.
Okay, yes, thank you very much for having me. So, the financial coaching, especially during and after divorce, is so critical for so many people. A common situation in most marriages is one person typically handles all the finances and the other person not so much. They may both definitely be contributing, but one person is typically the one that sits down, pays all the bills, manages cash flow, makes sure there's enough in the bank to cover the mortgage, etc. Um, the the challenge there is when there's a division. First of all, it takes a shift for people to get used to the idea of I am now living off of one income instead of two, or it could be I'm living on one income plus my receiving of support of somewhat. So there's a shift there as well. But there's also the management of the finances. So if you've gone through the last 15 years of not managing the finances of the house, that can be quite an adjustment to jump into that driver's seat and take over that. So a lot of the financial coaching I do, number one is getting an idea of their knowledge when it comes to cash flow management, and making sure they're set up for success with that. And the other is just being aware of the fact that there has been a change and they need to manage on a different level of cash flow, and going through the basics of what are your fixed, what do you have a choice of, what's your discretionary, what are your committed, and being set up to make sure that you're successfully meeting all those commitments. And then with the discretionary, learning how to maneuver that so that you can have some fun, enjoy life, but also reach your financial goals of eventually retiring or purchasing a home or helping your kids out, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of moving parts in the financial coaching because it's not just a budget, it's not just numbers. Money's very emotional. There's a lot of financial psychology is a term for a reason. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background when people are talking about money, and they hide it very, very well. The other day, I was speaking to somebody who presented herself in a completely different fashion than I would have expected. And when I found out, she was transparent and said, I'm living out of my car with my two kids.
Oh, wow.
And so the situation is when people are presenting themselves, you have no idea what their financial
Right.
situation is, what their background is. You don't know what their knowledge level's at. You don't know what they grew up with. There's so much working on in the background when it comes to money. So having people have to be ready for it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of times when I'm helping people through the divorce process and the financial mediation part that I'll let them know I am happy to help you with the next steps moving forward with some financial coaching and help you get set up with a cash flow spending plan and help you get set up with a financial planner to reach those long-term goals, and we can get you set up. And they don't come back for it, and it's surprising. So I think that speaks to the emotional state of mind that the person is in. You have to be ready to have that conversation. You've got to be ready to make the mindset shift. You have to be ready to confront some things in your past that are going to be triggered when we are talking about money. I've worked with some women going through a divorce that have such a financial trigger when talking about receipts. A receipt. And you don't think a receipt is going to be a big deal. Okay, accumulate your receipts. And she explained to me that that is such a trigger because of the financial trauma she experienced in her marriage, where she'd be at the grocery store with her four kids and a grocery cart full of food, and she'd go to use the credit card, which was the only card that her husband told her she was allowed to use, and there wasn't enough money on it. So I don't want to go spend time going down like all the negative past, but the thing is, we need to be aware that people have a past when it comes to money, and we have no idea what's going to trigger. So the whole financial coaching thing is not something that, here, let's get together for an hour and you're done. I need to get to know them. I need to understand them, understand their knowledge, their history, their relationship with their money, what their triggers are, so that I can coach them with the proper strategies to help them move forward to reach their goals, right? So it's that was a loaded question.
Wow, that's a huge amount of information, and I can absolutely see a lot of women. There's a specific age group, especially, that were nurtured in, this is my role, this is your role, and finances were not part of it. Um, so yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of, just as you said, Annette, emotional, baggage that's sitting there. And I think in our previous conversation, we were chatting and you said there's shame there as well, which is a pretty significant emotion to be carrying surrounded by money.
Yes, I've talked to a lot of people where, and I do financial coaching or financial counseling with couples, which are, there's an interesting additional component of the fact that they're a couple when you're dealing with that, because often they were opposites when they met. Right? Opposites attract. So you've got
Right.
a saver and a spender. Well, the spender makes the saver spend a little and have some fun, right? And the saver makes the spender maybe spend a little less and realize some financial responsibility, and so they bring each other into balance,
Right.
right? But then they get married, and they still fundamentally have that initial mindset when it came to money that they had to begin with. And so, years into a marriage, now you've got a lot of financial conflict, which is a major contributing factor to a lot of marriage breakdown,
Right.
especially as the financial environment and the economic environment intensifies more and people are feeling the constraint. So, what I find there is a lot of times, people just need to, I work with them to get back onto the same page and realign with their core values and make sure that they're ready and moving forward together. But here's where the shame comes in. I have met with a lot of them, and one person will say, this is all my fault. Our financial situation is all my fault. It's been horrible. They work so hard. They've been disciplined. They've been self-controlled. And I have put us in this financial situation. And I tend to be a shopper. And it's all my fault. All the stress in our relationship is my fault. And the amount of shame and guilt that they carry, right? So now that requires more of a family counselor therapy. I'm very limited in my scope of where I can go, right? But it's horrible what people carry with them, and that really drains us of our emotional energy to focus on positively moving forward. So sometimes we have to stop the financial counseling part and say, okay, we need to get this part dealt with. So you need to go to couples counseling, you need to go to therapy, we need to resolve this issue. We need to resolve the issue of, why have you been a spender, right? Oh, well, yeah, my mother passed away and I was very close to her, and so there was a trigger there, and I got an inheritance, and I was just, that was my therapy, is shopping, right? So there's so many things going on in the background that many professionals are sometimes required to come in to really assist these people the way they should be assisted.
Wow, that's fantastic information. Thank you so much, Annette.
Welcome.
Yes.
So we will finish this off. I'm Candy Grant, and this is my colleague, Patricia McCallum. We're from the Kempenfeld Group at Remax Hallmark Che, and we've been very pleased to have Annette Bourassa from Accounting Essentials with us. So thank you, Annette.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And have a great day.
Thank you. You as well.
Bye.